Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we are seeing Prabhupada is describing about the qualification of Mahatma Vidura, which made him qualified to hear the transcendental pastimes of the Lord in detail. So, this chapter is entitled as Pregnancy of Diti in the Evening. How Diti comes in the picture is because the first demon, Hiranyaksha, was born from Diti. And Vidura, he is inquiring about, when he heard about the first-born incarnation, how the Lord lifted the earth, he also wanted to know more about the second-born incarnation of the Lord, wherein in another millennium, Chakshusha millennium, the Lord killed this demon, the first demon by name Hiranyaksha. So he became further very inquisitive to know about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So the very first shloka explains about this wonderful quality of Mahatma Vidura. Sri Shukadev Goswami is speaking this verse. Nishamya means Vidura has been hearing and Maitreya Rishi has been describing the Varaha incarnation, the boar incarnation of the Lord. After hearing, generally what happens? After some time we lose interest. After some time we become tired. After some time we think that subject matter is over. Right? But here we are seeing, after hearing about the wonderful pastimes of the Lord, what was Vidura's reaction? Nishamya Kaushara Vina. After hearing from great sage Maitreya Rishi, Upavarnitam, who had described in detail Harehe Katham, who had described Krishna Katha, the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in relation to which incarnation of the Lord? Karana Shukaratmanaha, where the Lord had lifted the earth as Shukara Atmanaha, as the incarnation of boar or Varaha. So after hearing that, being described by Maitreya Rishi, Punaha sa prapacha, again further he inquired about the incarnation of the Lord. And how did he inquire? Tam Udyata Anjalir Generally, when we hear classes, we will be waiting, Prabhu, ho gaya bas, enough. Tired. Time is over. And here, he is with folded hands saying, please do not stop. I want to hear more. You see. Punahasa prapacha, once again he inquired. How did he inquire? Udyata Anjalir. Anjali means with folded hands. He once again inquired. Why did he inquire again? Nacha atitriptaha. Still I am not satisfied. Still my hunger, my thirst for hearing Krishna Katha has not come to an end. Still I am very unsatisfied. Still I want to hear more and more. So, this is one very important quality. Very, very eager to hear about the Lord. So this made him very qualified as a great devotee of the Lord when one becomes very, very inquisitive, very, very eager to hear about the Lord. And who was this personality? Dhritavrataha, who was very firm in his vow to know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very determined. This is another wonderful quality of Vidura. That this quality is also explained by Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that it is not only with enthusiasm we should practice Krishna consciousness, we should also be very determined. Because just enthusiastically practicing Krishna consciousness is not enough. We are practicing Krishna consciousness in this material world where there are ups and downs, where our consciousness will become affected with varieties of material environments. So, if we are not firmly fixed, if we are not determined to make progress, and if we give it up, then, our path to Krishna consciousness will be obstructed. So, Dhrida-vrataha, a very important factor which is very essential for sadhaka is determination. So we must have patience and we must have determination. Prabhupada says, actually, why determination is required is because a devotee is very faithful. He has that faith. Prabhupada gives an example. Why patience, all these things are important in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, if a man and a woman, if both of them are capable, if both of them are having that potency, they are not impotent, and when they unite, then definitely there will be pregnancy. The child will take birth. But still, the woman requires patience. If the seed is sown, automatically there will be pregnancy. But pregnancy takes time. The woman cannot desire, let us unite today and tomorrow I want to have a child. What is the faith? The faith is that husband is potent, wife is potent, then pregnancy must be there. So once pregnancy is there, the child will be born. So that patience is required. And that patience is with faith, with proper understanding. So similarly, in Krishna consciousness, when we understand, when we are inquisitive from our side, we are faithful from our side, and if the message is potent, then automatically Krishna Bhakti will sprout in our heart. You see? Provided we hear from bona fide source. That is very, very important. So when the spiritual master is potent, and when the candidate, the disciple also is potent, he has his qualification to hear Krishna Katha with proper understanding. He is inquisitive, he is very faithful, and the spiritual master becomes pleased with him, then the result, the combination will result in Krishna consciousness, Krishna Bhakti. Just like if the man is potent, if the woman is potent, then automatically there will be pregnancy. But patience is required. One has to follow prescribed process. So, this is another important quality which a disciple must have. So here we are seeing these wonderful qualities present in Vidura. Next shloka further describes about another important qualification of Vidura. Vidura uvacha teneva tu munishreshtha, O munishreshtha, harina yagnamurtina, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the form of sacrifices. Adi Detyo Hiranyaksho Hatha. I heard that Adi Detya, the first demon, Hiranyaksha, was killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this very incarnation as Varaha. I heard. Where did I hear? Iti Anushushrama. This is what I have heard by disciplic succession. So, it's not that we are eager to hear, we are very inquisitive to hear, but this eagerness, this inquisitiveness, if it is wrongly placed, if we go and hear from non-bona fide sources, it will not result in Krishna Bhakti. You see, this is also very important. Anushushrama means I have heard in disciplic succession. Prabhupada translates it. Sri Vidura said, O chief amongst the great sages, I have heard by disciplic succession that Hiranyaksha, the original demon, was slain by the same form of sacrifices the personality of Godhead, Lord Varaha. So, not only one must be inquisitive and eager to hear, and he must be faithful, he must hear from right source, bona fide source, disciplic succession, then it will bear fruit. And then here, in today's verse, we find these two important qualities are further elaborated. Vidura is saying, why you must describe more and more? Why you must describe in detail about this incarnation of the Lord? He says, Shraddha Dhanaya Bhaktaya Bruhi Tad Janma Vistaram. My dear Lord, my dear Maitre Rishi, O great sage, not only I am inquisitive, I am devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That Shraddha can be applied to demigods. One can think that I am having lot of Shraddha for Devatas. I am having lot of Shraddha for my country. I am having lot of Shraddha for my family. Isn't it? No. Not that kind of Shraddha. Actually, real Shraddha is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we become devoted, when we want to become a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhaktaya, that is actually real Shraddha. So, Vidura is saying, Shraddha Dhanaya Bhaktaya. I am unto a very faithful person who is devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kindly speak in detail, Bruhi Tat Janma, speak about the appearance of Varaha in more detail. Vistaram, Vistaram means in detail. Why you should speak in more detail? Rishena tripyati manaha. Still my mind is very eager. It is not satisfied. Still I want to hear more. Still it is not completely filled. It is still very eager to hear. Param kotuhalam hime. I am very anxious. Param kotuhalam. Kotuhalam Prabhupada translates as anxious or very inquisitive. I am very, very inquisitive to hear. So in translation, Prabhupada says, my mind has become very inquisitive and therefore I am not satisfied with hearing the narration of the Lord's appearance. So this is the test whether we have developed Ruchi in Krishna Katha. What is the test? We are not satisfied. Just like drunkard, he is not satisfied. One day I drink, enough. Every day he wants to drink. Why? Because he has developed a taste. So what is the test of the taste we have developed for Krishna Katha? We are not satisfied. Not that, Prabhu, I have finished Bhagavatam, now over. What else I should do? No. Krishna Katha is like that again and again in more detail and detail we would like to understand and read. So, mind is very eager, not satisfied, not that this is enough, I have read sufficient, I have heard sufficiently enough, now I don't require to hear any more. No, there is no stage like that. The more you advance, the more you would like to hear. Not that the more I advance, filled. Now I don't want to hear anymore. It's over now. No. The more we advance, the more we want to hear. The more we become eager to hear about the Lord. So, my mind has become very inquisitive. Therefore, I am not satisfied with hearing the narration of the Lord's appearance. Please therefore speak more and more to a devotee who is faithful. So, Shraddha Dhanaya, Bhaktaya, to a devotee who is more and more faithful, who is faithful. Please speak to him more and more on the topics of the Lord. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, one who is actually faithful and inquisitive is qualified to hear transcendental pastimes of the appearance and disappearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vidura was a suitable candidate to receive such transcendental messages. So this is not ordinary message, this is a transcendental message of the Lord. And who becomes eligible? These are two very important qualities to become eligible. The quality to become eligible is you must be very inquisitive and you must be very faithful. These two qualities are very, very important. We all understand, Prabhupada explains that by nature we are all very inquisitive. Right? By nature. From the very childhood we are very inquisitive. Every species of life you will find are having this inquisitive nature. The birds, the beast, everybody is inquiring. Unfortunately, their subject matter of inquiry is inferior, not of superior quality. We must inquire about transcendental subject matter. In human form of life, those inquiries should end. What we had been inquiring in lower species of life, those inquiries should end. Now is a time for higher inquiries. Athato Brahman Jignasa. Brahman means superior, spiritual inquiries should begin in human form of life. So actually, this inquisitive nature is there in every living entities, but it is only in human form of life we can inquire higher. We can place spiritual inquiries. Brahman Jignasa. Tattva Jignasa, you will find in Bhagavatam. It is called Brahman Jignasa, Tattva Jignasa, isn't it? So that is very, very important. Because until and unless we are very inquisitive to know more and more about transcendental subject matter, our progress in devotional service will not be there. We will not be able to progress. So, inquisitiveness as well as with faith we have to hear. And this faith, as I said, it is not some kind of dull faith, it is not some kind of blind faith. This faith is scientific faith. Understanding that this message is coming from parampara, it is coming directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is no difference between this message and the message which was vibrated originally by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is not some kind of blind faith. Faithfulness means the faith which is placed properly in bona fide source. That is a proper faith. So this faith is in the disciplic succession, the message we received in disciplic succession, as Vidura wants to hear from Maitreya Rishi. So this is another very, very important qualification that we must have faith. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 3rd chapter, after speaking to Arjuna about the different instructions Krishna is giving, Krishna says, Ye me matam idam nityam anutishtati manavaha shraddhavanto anasuyantaha muchyante te api karmadhihi. Krishna says two very important qualification, that these instructions which I am giving, if somebody receives them with faith and without enviousness. So Krishna says, one who executes his duties according to my injunctions and who follows this teaching faithfully, shraddhavantaha and anasuyantaha, means without envy, becomes free from the bondage of fruitive actions. So, this is very important, that the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead coming down in parampara, which is Krishna Katha, should be received very faithfully. And if we receive faithfully, then we will become free from bondage of fruitive mentality, fruitive actions. Next, Krishna says, those who do not have this faith and they disregard these teachings, Krishna says they are fools, they are bereft of all knowledge, and they are doomed to ignorance and to bondage. So Krishna says, Ye tu etat abhyasuyantaha na anutishtanti me matam sarvagnana vimudhantan vidhi nashtan achetasaha. Those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not practice them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled, doomed to ignorance and bondage. So actually this factor is very important, that we must have faith in the process. So faith in the process is just like Rupa Goswami is saying, that these are stages. Adau Shraddha, beginning faith is required. But it is not that it stops at this Shraddha. Then Sadhu Sangha. If we want to increase this faith further, then we have to associate with devotees. Then we have to follow the process. We become initiated, and then Bhajana Kriya. Actually, Bhajana Kriya begins at the point of initiation. Prabhupada says, after Sadhu Sangha, the real connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is established, not directly. Just like Vidura is not directly trying to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he wants to hear through Maitreya Rishi. So our connection to the Supreme Lord becomes established when we become initiated by the spiritual master. So Prabhupada says, Bhajana Kriya begins after initiation. At the point of initiation, the spiritual master very mercifully squares up all our sinful reactions. You see, because Prabhupada explains this, why the spiritual master squares up all the sinful reactions of the devotee. Because yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmana te dvanda moha nirmuktam bhajante mam dhridavrataha. So actually Prabhupada is very, very merciful that even though we had no such qualification, how many of us were very, very inquisitive, isn't it? We were not so faithful that in spite of all these disqualifications, mercifully, Prabhupada, when he initiates us, he removes all our this papa karma. And when these papa karmas are removed and our life becomes auspicious, then we become eligible to hear Krishna Katha. Then we can advance further in Krishna consciousness. So, Prabhupada explains that the spiritual master squares up all the sinful reactions of his disciple at the point of initiation. And then Prabhupada says it is the duty of the disciple to see that now my spiritual master has closed all my debit and credit accounts of sinful activities. Now I should not reopen that account once again. Otherwise, we once again become disqualified. So we should not become disqualified. We should acquire qualification to advance in Krishna consciousness. So, this is very important that we follow the vows of initiation, what we had given to the spiritual master at the time of our initiation, to chant the holy name of the Lord minimum 16 times, 16 rounds, and follow the 4 regulative principles. So Prabhupada explains that Krishna consciousness is like a fire, and if you want to ignite the fire of Krishna consciousness, then the wood must be dry. And if you make the wood wet, if you pour water on the wood, then fire will not ignite, or it will take a long time to ignite. So similarly, the fire of Krishna consciousness, if we want to ignite in our heart, then we must be dry. How we must be dry? We must follow the regulative principle. If we don't follow, then again we become implicated in sinful reactions, and it will be very difficult to become qualified to receive Krishna conscious messages. So this is another important thing which we must understand. And after Bhajana Kriya, when we perform as given by the spiritual master, then anarthas will go out, anartha nivrati will happen. And when anarthas have gone out, then our Shraddha becomes Nishtha. Then it becomes completely fixed up. Then no one can shake this, our faith in Krishna consciousness. And after we have become, when we have become fixed in Krishna consciousness, then further ruchi, taste, bhava, all those further progression in Krishna consciousness begins further. So these are the qualifications which Vidura had, and that's why we are seeing that he is so much eager to hear more and more about the pastimes of the Lord from Vidura, from Maitreya Rishi. Today is also the day of formal initiation of Srila Prabhupada. So I'll just read about Prabhupada himself remembering that day of his formal initiation. As per Tithi, today is on Ashtami, Krishna Paksha, in the Keshav Masha, in the year 1932, 21st November 1932, Srila Prabhupada received, so that was according to Tithi, it's not English calendar. So according to the Tithi, today is the Tithi. Srila Prabhupada received formal initiation from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur at Rupa Gaudiya Math, Allahabad. Srila Prabhupada received both first and second initiation at the same time. Normally, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would ask for a disciple to wait for 6 months between first and second initiation. But in case of Srila Prabhupada, he did not do that. Srila Prabhupada's name was changed from Abhay Charan Day to Abhay Charnarvind Dasa. Srila Prabhupada ki Prabhupada recalls. Anyway, from 1922 to 1933, practically I was not initiated, but I got the impression of preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult. That I was thinking, and that was initiation by my Guru Maharaj. I passed on as householder, but by the causeless mercy of my Divine Master, that order of preaching was impressed on my heart. I was initiated regularly in 1933 at Allahabad, when Sir Malcolm Haley, the then governor of UP, opened our Gaudiya Math branch there. This is from Srila Prabhupada's letter to Hanuman Prasad Poddar. And in 1933, I was officially initiated. And my only qualification was, when I was introduced to my Guru Maharaj for initiation, so Guru Maharaj immediately said, yes, I shall initiate this boy. He is very nice. He hears me very patiently. See? So actually we are seeing that one of the very important qualifications in Krishna consciousness is eagerly hearing. And Prabhupada says, my Guru Maharaj initiated me because of this quality. So what did he say? Yes, I shall initiate this boy. He is very nice. He hears me very patiently. He does not go away. That was my qualification. The high standard of philosophy which he was speaking at that time, practically I could not follow what was he was speaking. But still I like to hear him. That was my hobby. See, we have to make it like a hobby. Just like hobby means regularly something when you do is called hobby. So hearing, becoming eager to hear should become our hobby. Whenever I was asking, when Guru Maharaj will speak? So he took it very seriously. So this is from Prabhupada's class on the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Hyderabad, December 10, 1976. Srila Prabhupada ki